Hi there, it's Laura here from Get Organized HQ, and a few months ago, I reviewed all of the home edit products from Walmart. They are some of my absolute favorites because not only are they affordable, but they work great. They're almost just as good as their more expensive counterparts. And great news, they've come out with even more products now. So I ordered just a whole bunch of them, and I'm gonna try them out for you and let you know what I think. So in this haul, I got mostly products that I think are mostly intended for the kitchen. However, some of these bamboo boxes I think are super versatile and I could use them in garage, laundry room. I think a couple I'm gonna use in my closet, but we're gonna focus mostly on the kitchen. I got several bamboo items. I love that they all coordinate nicely with each other. They look really good. And I also got several of these clear style bins, and we're gonna go ahead and get started talking about what I got with the clear style bins. So these are like their pantry bins. So the idea, I believe, is that you decant your pantry items into these. You'll see that there are 3 different sizes of these bins. So this one right here is your biggest, largest bin. And then we're followed by this size of bin and then the small bin. Now, what I love, love, love about these, like I will be honest, I hadn't seen them, my store doesn't have them, I had to order them online, and I was a little bit like skeptical, but when I actually got my hands on these, I am really impressed because they are truly modular, meaning when you put these 2 sizes together, they are the same height. And if you know me, you know that when they're different heights, they bug me. So I love that. I also love how they nest. So you can see how I'm like tilting this, I'm not holding it, and it's not falling because they nest extremely securely, like way better than even OXOs. So I give them like A+ for that. Like you're not gonna like accidentally knock this one off. It nests very nicely. And then when you're talking about these style bins, you always wanna think about how they seal. You don't want your food to go stale. And I'm pretty impressed. You also don't want the lid to fall off. So on OXOs, which are, I would say, the most popular, if I put flour, sugar, and I pick it up by the lid, it's fallen. It has happened multiple times. With this, that is not happening. They have a latch here on both sides, so it is like securely latching, like it is not going anywhere. In addition to that, even with these unlatched, like if I do this, I'm really shaking, like really truly trying to get that to go. It's not going anywhere. So this little gasket here is extremely secure. I can show you what it looks like. It's this plastic, so I feel like these are extremely secure, so I'm already impressed with them. Okay, so what I've done here is I have grabbed some actual stuff out of my pantry that was just thrown in multi-purpose bins that I would really like to make it a little bit better in these, so we're gonna see how this stuff fits. Now, I do wanna say in the con column is that I wouldn't probably use these for baking ingredients because I do not think that this would hold, I mean, I know it would not hold a whole bag of flour, and I absolutely think it's ridiculous to put part of a bag in there and then still have to store your extra bag. If it doesn't hold the whole thing, it's a no-go for me. So I think they could work if they would come out with more sizes, but at least at Walmart, as far as I know, these are the only sizes they have. So that would kind of inhibit me from using these in my baking. However, we could still use these for snacks, okay? So we're gonna start with the goldfish. Now, again, I get these giant things of goldfish because my kids really like goldfish. And little side note, I actually like them too. So this is obviously not gonna fit the whole thing. This thing is probably over 3/4 full. And so we're just gonna dump these in. Okay. All right, that's about how much it holds, and I'm gonna put the lid on. So like, look at how much better this looks than like all this mismatched packaging. And I think that I could fit one of these even full in either 2 of these or 1 of these and 1 of this size. So we're gonna go ahead and put the rest in this size. Oh, I love how clear they are. It is looking super organized. Okay, so I take it back. If this thing had been completely full, I would have used 2 of these. So that's what I will do next time. I'm just gonna toss this aside. You might have heard that hit the floor. I didn't want to move out of the frame to throw it away. I'll get it later. So we've got those 2 now completely. Okay, let's see. Having a little trouble getting this down. Okay, I just need to push at the right angle. All right, and I feel like these are very secure in there. Now we're gonna move on to something that I often have. So my family, I don't know if your family does this, we snack on chocolate chips because they're good, you know? So we often have partial bags. My son, that's like his favorite dessert, and that's super simple. You don't have to make anything, so I'm all for it. I believe, just in my estimation, even a full bag of chocolate chips would fit in one of these. So let's go ahead and see. This one is probably 3/4 full. So we'll dump these in. Whoops. Okay. It's easier if you're not doing it on film, just so you know. I'm trying not to turn my body to like block it from you. Okay, so I would say that definitely a full bag would fit in here, no problem, of like your standard chocolate chips. And if it were me, I would have like chocolate chips, white chocolate chips, cinnamon chips, mini chocolate chips, and that's just gonna look so nice in the pantry. Okay, seriously, I think I'm gonna go order more of these. I'm loving it that much. Okay, let's move on. Now we of course have s'mores station kind of in our pantry. So one problem I have with the marshmallows is that I open them, I put this little clip on them, and they still go stale. So I think that this would really help with that. Now, the question is, do we put them in this guy? Or okay, I'm gonna try the smaller one. Now, if it doesn't work, I saved you the time and you know you need to go with the bigger one. But I like to put it in the smallest one that will still comfortably hold it, obviously. So let's see if I can get these in here without spilling them. Okay, whoop. Okay, we should have gone with the bigger one. Oops. Okay. And I don't recommend you knock something off the back. Okay, definitely should have gone with the bigger one. We're just gonna do that right now. Now you know. Okay, let's see if I can get these to match up. Oh, there we go. All right, now there's a lot of dead space for marshmallows. Then we get the rest of those in there. Yay, now I feel like my marshmallows are not gonna go stale on me, which is great. Okay, now let's see, what is next? I'm really curious, we have a lot of Hershey bars, if they will fit this way. And I'm thinking the answer is no, so just barely not, but they will fit perfectly. Well, will they fit so close, friends. However, if I stuck them straight up, definitely not. And even at an angle, you're gonna have to angle them a decent bit because you still wanna be able to get the lid on. And so you need space for the lid to actually, yeah, but they do pretty well. You couldn't just stuff it completely full. That's about how, well, actually, yeah, once it's closed, they do pretty well. So I think you could definitely store quite a few of the Hershey bars in there. Now let's talk about the graham crackers. Grab another one of this size. Do they fit? So here's one of these sleeves. Again, this is something that I think goes stale very easily. Yes, I think they would fit. Now, if I just had one thing of graham crackers, let's see if they do fit. Oh, nope, they don't. So let's see. So I wouldn't use the small one. Let's see if I can use this size. Standing up like this, pretty close. Let's see if this thing goes on. Without hitting up against something. Okay. I feel, oh, maybe that's good. Did we latch it? It's latched. It is secure. And they fit great. I think 2 of them would definitely fit. So I feel like this is a perfect one, like it's made for graham crackers, standing up this way. And then the last one that I want to do, sometimes we do our s'mores with Reese's. My family loves Reese's. I actually do not like peanut butter. And, I think if you took your time to arrange them, which I'm not going to do, you could definitely fit them in here. You just have to, like I said, more neatly arrange them, or you can put them in the slightly bigger one and they would be good to go. So this is me actually putting these in my pantry, and notice that the depth of them means that you can actually put 2 deep, and I would recommend that. Otherwise, you're going to really waste space, or you could put the product itself behind there. I love the look of these in my pantry. I didn't think I was gonna do this, but I seriously think I'm about ready to switch out a bunch of stuff in my pantry and put them in here instead of the multi-purpose bins, which I still love, and I'll still have a lot of those. It can be a little easier to just toss your packages in the multi-purpose bins. You're not gonna have to decant them, but I actually kind of enjoy decanting them. So I think I'm a little bit sold on these. These are staying in my pantry. I have a few more clear bins to talk about. We have this size of pantry bin, which, side note, when I did that last segment, I didn't realize I had these, so I might stand corrected on something. We'll check on that in a second. And then these, like, I call them bento style boxes that you could have like in your fridge, and you could have like your sandwich, vegetables, fruit, or something like that, which I think is just really neat. Or if you are into food prepping your meals for the week, these would be perfect for that. So let's go ahead and talk about these. First of all, love, love, love the size. These are bigger, which I was saying earlier I wanted. And then look at how well the size matches up here. The height is perfect. Now, the one thing that, you know me, I don't love is if I line these up in the back, you're gonna see that there is extra space here. So these are actually deeper than these. The pro to that is they'll definitely hold more. The con to that is they don't look as nice, and unless you're lining them like this, and I do not think you could do these too deep in the pantry. You could probably go this way with them, but you couldn't do it like this. So that's just something to keep in mind. But I think we have hope for these holding flour, sugar. They show rice and beans. So I also think they probably hold an entire thing of large goldfish. So you've got a lot more options for holding larger things. But we're gonna test it with sugar here. I do not have an entire bag of flour, so we'll see how much space is left over from the sugar. I mean, I know this is gonna fit, and I will let you know. Okay, so I think my opinion is we'd be close on flour. I think I need to get a bag of flour just so we know. All right, we're going and getting a bag of flour for you because we gotta know, will the flour fit? If it does, this opens a whole world of storing pantry goods in here, a whole world of possibilities. While we're working on getting that bag of flour, it is very nice to live very close to Target, by the way. It's also not good for one's pocketbook, in case you were wondering. But let's talk about these. So these have like the latches on 4 sides, which I feel like is gonna like keep it very secure. I would definitely throw this in a lunchbox. And again, it's secure even before you latch it. And then the lid, I like how it kind of has the plastic part even in the middle. So I feel like my food is gonna stay very airtight in here. And this is what the inside looks like. So for me, I would probably put like a main dish here and then little side dishes here, or I could see putting like all my vegetables and fruit that I want to eat for the day, especially if you're trying to eat more vegetables and fruit. I think that would be really cool. All right, so if I were using this for packing lunches, okay, I'm not actually gonna make a sandwich because I'm not doing this for real, it's for demonstration purposes. So I'd make my sandwich. Sandwich fits perfectly in there. And then I would go ahead and we're gonna put some blueberries in one of these. So it would hold quite a lot of like blueberries. You could put apple slices, you could put strawberries, carrot sticks. You could even put a little bit of dip in there. Because of the way this lid is, I don't think dip would fall out and get on the other stuff, which I think is quite nice. And then I'm gonna put a little bit of goldfish over in this compartment. Whoops. All right, a little bit harder than I thought it was gonna be. And there, I now have lunch ready to go. We'll just apply the lid, get it nice and airtight. It's ready to go. And look at this, like it's not, like I can toss it any which way and we're feeling safe. So I love that about it. And then I love how nicely these would stack in your refrigerator, ready to go for the week. Okay, great news. Thanks to my lovely video assistant, we now have some flour and we can test this out. What do y'all think? I think it's gonna work. That's my opinion, but we are gonna test it and see. So there will be no question about whether or not the flour, a whole entire bag of flour will fit in one of these. And for me, that's about the biggest thing that I need to put in here. So if flour fits, I know anything else that I need will fit. All right, so we open it up and we'll start pouring it in. like this. And let's see. Oh boy, is it going to fit? Oh dear, nope. I'm glad we tested it. Look at that. Okay, so this is not even all of it. I'm gonna definitely have to clean up over the, so you can see already the lid wouldn't fit on here. And how much is left is like maybe 1/8 of the bag. I don't know if you can see that in there, but there is definitely some left in there. Now I probably have flour all over me. So the verdict is an entire bag of flour will not fit in one of these. So I really hope that the Home Edit from Walmart decides to release a slightly larger version. So the other line of products that I got is their bamboo line. So let me just explain what is available. And by the way, I think most of these, at least when I order, were only available in sets of 2. So just keep that in mind. You might be forced to buy 2. So they have the rectangle shapes, and those come in 2 sizes. So this size right here is the bigger of the 2 sizes. It comes with both the open front and over here like the non-open front, just a regular bin. They have handles. This wood is pretty smooth. I also love how well they nest in each other, so these aren't going anywhere. Then we have the smaller size. So this is the smaller size. It comes in the regular bin and the stackable open front bin. So both the larger and smaller come in open front and regular. So here's what the regular looks like. It is still a rectangle, but a little closer to a square, obviously much smaller. And let me show you how they nest here. So these nest in very well. Like this isn't going anywhere as I tip it over because of how well they nest. I love that. They also have a really cute, subtle little Home Edit logo on them. Then in addition to these square bins that they have, they also have these, I guess you call them risers. Came in a set of 2 risers. So they also have these as well. You can put spices, jars, things like that. I would mostly probably use these in a kitchen. And they have one other product that I got, and that was this turntable. So it's just like a rimmed turntable. They also had one with just a tiny lip instead of so much of a rim, but I didn't get that one. I only got these. So that's what's available. All right, so these risers in this set are probably actually my least favorite. What I don't love is that there's no, like, you can't change the size. It is the width it is. So if you put it in a cabinet and you have some extra, you're just wasting space. And if it doesn't fit this, it's not gonna fit. So just want to point that out. So as far as what you can sit on them, this is a standard salsa jar. So I feel like the depth is pretty good. It doesn't really hang off when I put this salsa jar, which is much bigger than most cans. Here's a small can and a slightly larger can. They seem to both fit pretty well on there. The other thing I can see people doing is spices. So these are my spice jars. These are not small spice jars, and they do fit pretty much perfectly. All right, so let's talk about these 2 smaller sizes of square bins. I do think they would work well in a closet. I might use these in my closet, like you can just toss socks in or like baby onesies in there, and I like that it hides the mess inside if they're not like all neatly stacked and things like that, or even washcloths. So you could use these in different areas or any area, really. These would be good for like shelves, kids' crafts, all those kind of things. But we're gonna talk about kitchen uses, and then these open front ones would be good lots of places as well. So I have this ready rice in a multi-purpose bin. So I wanna see what it would be like in here. Now, first of all, I don't think it would fit well. It wouldn't fit well in the bottom one. I could put it in the top one of these, but I think I would probably personally choose to put it in here. They do fit pretty well too, side by side. So I think that would be a really nice, good, they look very neat. So these kind of uniform packaging looks good in there. So I think that's perfect for that. Obviously, if I had something on the bottom, note that that would be something that I wouldn't get to as much. Then I was trying to think of what to put in the open front ones. I love the concept of the open front, but it tends to be a little bit trickier than you would imagine because there's not too much of a lip. So you have to have something that's small enough to fit in there, but not too tall. So I feel like these are a little better in concept than in actuality. But a perfect thing that I might put in there is like the kids' snack stuff. Like they could even make their own lunches, or even if my husband and I are making them for them, we just grab a thing out of each bin, So let's see. Oh, these Go-Go's are actually like they were made for it. The height is absolutely perfect, and you can just reach in and get that. And I actually like that for these because I want my kids to be able to like easily grab healthy snacks. I want those to be easier to grab than the less healthy snacks. So this might be something that I would really do. And also for unhealthy snacks, we have like those little packaged cookies for their lunch and things. That might be what I would put in this upper one. So yeah, I really actually think this is good for that. Just keep in mind, it's still not just super comfortable to reach all the way to the back and get it out. Like, see what I just did there? I think little hands would be even better for this. All right, let's talk about the larger version of these. I first want to point out that the height on these is exactly the same, whether they are the larger or the smaller, which is a huge plus in my book. I love having everything in even height, so if you put this beside it, it's still gonna have that really cohesive, uniform look. These are just extremely similar to the smaller size, literally just bigger. So some of it's gonna depend on the size of the cabinet or pantry or shelf that you're putting it on, like what it can handle. And really, a lot of what I would put in these is exactly the same as I would put in the smaller ones, just more of them. So if I went to Costco and I bought like the applesauce pouches in huge bulk, I would use this size instead. Like the ready rice, for example, fits perfectly in here. And I think I could fit 3 across pretty nicely. Yeah, there's a little bit of overlap, but you can totally fit that many across. So, you know, it just kind of depends on how much you have to place in them. All right, so I got 2 of these deep Lazy Susans. What I love about them, they roll nicely. They also, with the side on them, as you roll, things are not going to fall out if you have tall items, so I love that. I also love how well they coordinate with the other items. So if you're putting them in your pantry, it's going to look nice to just go ahead and have everything matching. So I love that about them. I also think they would be really cute for like kids artwork. I could see putting like mason jars of like different color crayons, different things like that. So I think they have a lot of uses even outside of the kitchen. But I grabbed this out of my cabinet just to demonstrate what we could put in here. So definitely like these kind of bottles are perfect for Lazy Susans like this. And the one downside I would say is like some of these things that I have in here are just too short. I would prefer the clear one for that because they're not going to get lost in the shuffle, but you can get an idea of like, you can really, really fit a lot in here. Like I think even though this Lazy Susan that I'm taking things out of is literally larger than this one, it's wider. I think because this doesn't have divisions, I think I can fit absolutely everything from there. I absolutely can into here. So there you go, everything in here. This fits in a smaller area, just like this. And again, because it has the sides, these bottles aren't gonna fall off. If I had one that was shorter, and they do sell one with just a tiny lip, I would be afraid that as I spin, these could kind of start to fall off, especially if they're top heavy. Now, if you like this, I know you are absolutely going to love my original home edit from a Walmart review. Those have completely different products, nothing I've shown here, and those are products that I use and like even more than these. So make sure you don't miss that. Click the video right here.